Hey, this is Curtis Alexander. I'm a pharmacist. In this video, what I'm going to talk about is herbal over-the-counter product touted for depression. It's called Kanna, K-A-N-N-A, and I want to touch on it because, well, for a number of reasons, and I'll get into those. But first, before we start talking about depression, what I think is important is for you to understand if it's something that you're suffering with. The first place I always encourage people to focus on is their gut health. Most of the neurotransmitters in our body are produced in the gut, so gut health is primary to helping something like depression. With that out of the way, let's talk specifically about Kanna. So one of the good things about it, it's got a long history of use. It's actually indigenous to South Africa, so it's been used there for centuries to treat all sorts of central nervous system mental health issues, from anxiety, mood disorders, depression. They have used it in South Africa for that. In the past, they would just take the plant, dry it out, they'd chew it up, swallow the saliva. They could use it as a snuff that they would inhale. They would smoke it. So there's a number of different ways that they can take it. Nowadays, we have standardized preparations that are available on the market. Okay, so history is a positive thing with it. The main thing we want to focus on here, what does the evidence say? Is it helpful? So on and so forth. So first of all, what we think with Kanna is that it acts as an SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. The SSRIs we have on the marketplace are like Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa. Now, in a way, that's a good thing because those are popular antidepressants. I'm not completely sold on putting more serotonin into our system as a good idea in some respects, so take that with a grain of salt. But it is promising. It kind of mimics what some of the depression meds on the market currently do. The downside of the evidence that we have, I couldn't find a very good study in humans looking specifically at depression. There were some in rats, but those are rat studies. I don't place a ton of value in those. But there were good human studies in anxiety that were promising. The reason I mention that, granted, not depression, but a lot of people with depression have an anxiety component. So it may be worth thinking about from that angle. So the evidence isn't super strong, but it does have a long history of use, case reports, people's reporting positive use with it. So some of that kind of balances out. Now, as far as dosing, again, it's a little bit all over the lot. You'll see anywhere from 25 to 200 milligrams. I would never go 200 milligrams. You start seeing people online doing videos, those sorts of things, that are taking pretty high doses to try to get a mood altering effect. There's rumors floating around that Kanna is good as a party drug, that sort of stuff. They're using high doses. Stay away from that. Don't be dumb that way. But I think for depression it would be reasonable to say 25 milligrams once a day and just see how you do on that. Now, an important thing to point out is side effects. And Kanna does have some side effects, okay? So one of its main ones is weight gain, and we've seen that happen in upwards of 14%. Again, these are different studies, not just depression, but just people using Kanna for different things. We do see weight gain as an issue, which may be a result of people feeling like they have an increased appetite, increased thirst. That's roughly 10% of people. People do get some fatigue, again, 10%. Then we have some other ones. People can get an upset stomach. Muscle rigidity, that was one that was mentioned. It's not common, but obviously it can be pretty problematic, pretty bothersome for people. So that's one to keep in mind. The one I found interesting, they actually did have 5% of people who took Kanna in different studies report depression. Take that for what it's worth. Like I said, some of the studies we have weren't well designed. There aren't a ton of studies looking at it, but it was interesting to note that happened. Another thing is, and this is kind of my overall thought process on Kanna, is it intriguing? Yeah, it is. Does it have a long history of use? It does. Is there scientific evidence for its use for depression? I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Would I use it personally? I don't think it would be my first choice. Again, I would focus on gut health. I do think there's some other products out there over the counter, if that's what you're looking for, that have a little better history of use, safety profile. Not that the can is bad, but it maybe wouldn't be my first recommendation. You know, have St. John's wort, stuff like that. But if you've tried that without any success, I wouldn't be against trying Kanna. I would start at a very low dose. I would start at 25 milligrams a day and then go from there. If you've tried Kanna or you know anybody who has, I'd love for you to post in the comments. It helps other people. It helps me, learn about people's experience with it. So hope the video was helpful. And again, post in the comments if you or anyone you know has taken Kanna. Until the next one, I will see you. Thanks.